You got challenges that you're going to run across.
It could have been. I can't remember what year Bobby Humphrey came out.
Did he go first round?
He went first round also.
To Denver.
To Denver.
Okay. Wow. You ever see Biscuit?
You know, I used to see him a little bit. You know, he lives down in South Florida, but his mother actually lives right next door to one of my first cousins down in like the Harrytown, Pleasant Grove area. Okay. Now his mother passed away, so obviously I hadn't seen him in a while, but I used to see him sometimes when he was at his mother's house if I was at my cousin's house. Yeah.
What did you like about his game?
Oh man, shoot, Biscuit was versatile, man. I mean, number one, he could run. I mean, he that was the thing about him and Derek Thomas. Watching those guys, like for me as a young guy, back when they were playing, I was early high school, maybe middle school. I mean, those guys were athletic. They could run, and they were physical guys. And, you know, those are things I liked about, you know, just watching them run guys down, right, things like that. But it's kind of funny, like you said, you know, I really paid more attention to guys like Bobby Humphrey, for instance, when I was growing up, because I was a running back growing up. And so I wanted to be, you know, kind of wanted to be the next Bobby Humphrey when I went to Alabama, but played both ways in high school, and they felt like they needed me on defense more than on offense, because they had guys, you know, like you said, Derek Lassick, second round draft pick at running back, Sherman Williams, we came in together.
Right.
And there were some other guys. There's some other guys that played pro ball that were running back. So
Hump played at Glenn, right?
Bobby Humphrey played at Glenn.
Yeah.
Right off the interstate.
Yeah.
Right off the interstate.
I went to Glenn summer school one year, man. That was the best time I ever had. Glenn was known for and they don't have that anymore. Those remember we used to have shop where you go learn to be a mechanic, you can go learn to do a lot of stuff. They had and they took that out of the schools, man. So people would leave high school with trades. You know,
you know that's funny you say that. They still actually got it here in Alabama, in Birmingham. Really? Matter of fact, I was talking to a recruit. We had a recruiting weekend this past weekend. Had some guys in, and one of the local guys, I won't name the high school, but you know, they've still got, you know, like the automotive shop, the what do you call it, collision, where, you know, where they can fix, they can do like dents and all that type of stuff, fix all that. They've still got it. So it's actually still pretty big. And some places have, for instance, where I know there's one county here in Alabama where they've got this Academy of Crafts where students actually leave school at a certain time of day and they can go do HVAC, plumbing, all those different trades. And a lot of them, as soon as they get out of high school, they've got jobs because they've been doing that. So
that's a good thing, man. Because I remember, you know, my high school had it, but they took it away, and they started taking it away from a lot of schools. So I'm assuming they brought them back. But Glenn was big for that. Glenn had whole separate side of the campus was, you know, for that kind of stuff.
I didn't know that. One of my brother-in-laws, who's older than me, he actually did welding at Winona. Mm-hmm. And I know at one time, you know, I won't say where he was working, but he was working for a company and he was making over $100,000 a year. I mean,
really?
Yeah, he was doing one of the automotive companies here in Alabama. You know, that's become pretty big because you've got Mercedes. Mercedes is here, Honda, Hyundai. So you've got a lot of auto suppliers here, and so they do a lot of that work for Mercedes and places like that. So, you know, there's some alternative opportunities for students that don't want to go to a 4-year college and things like that.
That's pretty cool. You know, funny story. I used to think like Biscuit was like, what year did he graduate from high school? Was it 83, 84? I can't remember.
I'm not sure.
If he went to the league in 87, did he play 4 years?
He did.
Okay. So that means he had to graduate in 83.
Right. That'd be dead on. He would have played 83, 84, 85, 86.
Right. So he was a couple years behind me, but I remember in high school when we played Inslee, his school, it was a dude on his team, man, that we used to call neck roll. Because he used to wear this big old neck roll around. You remember the neck rolls that players wear? Did you have a neck roll?
Man, I wore one maybe once in Little League. It didn't feel good, so I stopped wearing it.
So we were watching neck roll on film, man. He come down killing people. And I thought afterwards when I left high school and, went on, I thought, because I went to Jackson State, and I thought that was Biscuit. Okay. And I realized it wasn't him. It was another dude on his team, man, in Inslee. This dude, man, he was a beast, man. He's had his big neck roll on, and we watched him on film, and he just come down just tearing people down, man. I was like, but that wasn't him. So I don't know. I can't even think anybody else who left Inslee that did anything. I don't know if you know did anybody else go to Bama from Inslee?
They had some guys after you and a little bit before me that went to like Auburn. There's a guy named Tony Russell went down to Auburn. He was a couple years ahead of me. They had another guy, I forget his name, big tall receiver / tight end that also went to Auburn. Okay. It was kind of fun. I think they kind of had an Auburn connection after Biscuit left and went to Alabama. Because they had a couple guys. Matter of fact, a guy named Ramon Luster, good friend of mine, played linebacker. We both came out the same year. He went to Auburn, I went to Alabama.
From Inslee?
Yeah, he was from Inslee.
Okay, all right. Let's run through a few little mental toughness questions and ask you this. Do you think that sports help cultivate that mental toughness for your mindset from growing up as a kid, playing sports and all of that? And how does it help some kid now? Because a lot of kids, well, you got parents are saying they don't want the kids to play football.
Well, first off, I feel like sports definitely plays a part in helping develop mental toughness in young men. I'm a big believer in it. Obviously, I look at myself. I talk to you about some of the things I went through, in college football, the ups and downs that you go through, the adversity that you face, and you learn how to face that adversity. Because one thing about football, for instance, when you're playing football, we video everything. Mm-hmm. So, if you're out there and you're shying away from stuff or you're not competing the way you need to compete, it's going to get pointed out. And either you're going to quit the team or you're going to keep doing it until, you finally realize, hey, I've got to do better. So I think it teaches you to face adversity and to push through things and to persevere when times get tough. And I've seen that not just for myself, but I've got teammates that have gone through things in sports that's helped them later on in life.
You got challenges that you're going to run across.
Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.